Hello and welcome back to Season 5 of the North American Strikers Academy. We're here in Week 9, the final week of our regular season before we head into playoffs. And as a result, we are looking at the closing heater matches for which teams we're going to be seeing in the coming weeks. First up on the docket today is PPL versus PASS. PPL having already secured their first seed in playoffs. And Saya, what else can we expect to see? And welcome to the cast, by the way.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I haven't seen you on these NASA broadcasts for a hot minute.
It's good to be back.
You've moved up to the big leagues for a while this season. And with the NASA season concluding, we had a few close matches there, but we have similar matches here now. If you remember the 4-4 teams of NASA, NBS and PASS are 4-4 right now. They're not facing each other, but they do want to get out of that awkward middle zone where they have a possibility to drop out of playoffs.
Yeah, and we are headed to Night Market now, jumping into the series, our first match here, and already on our pick bands. It is a specialized training peak performance start, and these players have opted for some stupid heavy hitting characters. Not really a surprise. This is Night Market, but we're running Juliet and X on the Brawlers. PASS will be rocking Tempo Melon on the IME Mangoes, holding it down as Atlas on the back line. Bloom will be rocking Mako and Average Alex on Rune for the midfield of PPL. I'm liking this. It's peak performances across the board. The only slick kicker in the lobby being Fiery, everyone else rocking Magnetized Souls as we jump into set 1.
Yeah, and that does make sense. The Maxwell dominance has really come into full effect with how much duration it has on it. So much speed without having to go near the core, but Fiery, as the X, is also going to get a little bit of benefit from those slick kicks in terms of the X Maximus as well. And this PPL offense is really unrelenting right now, of course. This game doesn't matter too much for them. They're just going for that undefeated record. But PASS, winning this puts them in control of their own destiny to secure playoffs. They avoid a lot of the awkward scenarios that would happen if something went awry in the next game.
Yeah, and they are, of course, bringing in Tempo Melon, not on the main roster, but obviously fantastic player, well-earned spot on the team. And it's good to see her in the midfield. She kind of plays everything these days. So nice to see another person's been converted to the IME midfield train. These players seem to just be constant neutral state here. The goalies are holding it down rock solid, but there is a banish in front of the net here from Average Alex. That'll be the first barriers down, and a quick goal with a strike war from Fiery.
Yeah, that's a little bit rough. If you're PASS, they were holding it down quite well. Like you said, the neutral state was being maintained for quite a while. But in the end, all it took was one missed strike, but one missed position from Average Alex. Coin instantly capitalizes, flips for both barriers. This offense is accelerating so quickly. Can't quite get the strike to force out Bloom's flip, but the offense continues for PASS here as they push forward.
Yeah, Fiery and Average Alex both now back on the board. In control of the speed gate, but with no barriers. Bloom working with nothing but air. It is back. Tempo Melon does have an offensive flip, but Bloom has a defensive one to respond. The banish comes out and it misses. Mango's now moving up to the midfield, but Fiery steals it away from him and goes in for the barriers.
Bloom now in a tough spot. Coin pushing forward, looking for that dash punch to finish it, but it's actually Fiery with a midfield bell ringer that takes the last barrier. Mangoes isn't quite ready. PPL suddenly equalized, and they have a goalie flip. They have the defensive insurance to speak of. Fiery still walking forwards with those slick kick speed with the core, trying to find the X Maximus strike reset, unsuccessful so far, but Average Alex maintaining core control. Now it goes to Coin, looking for a dash punch. Strike shotted away by Bloom, who gets out of danger.
Average Alex places the pillar in the midfield. 2 flips burned on the side of PASS for the defense, and it just slips in off of that little rune pillar. Cheeky one in the midfield.
Yeah, Tempo going in for a cyber swipe, but the pillar steals it away. And now look at the energy. PPL with a massive energy advantage with 2 points up. they're the ones in full control of this first set here.
Yeah, but it is Pass with a strong kickoff here. Mainly in control. PPL briefly sees back, but Tempo Melon is there to catch it in the midfield. The Ensnare Drums go wide, but Fiery dribbles with a Bell Ringer down the field. Really liking the way that both of these teams are playing like more or less the textbook Night Market game. Both of them making fantastic use of that center speed gate. See Coin snag it here. He's looking for defensive dash punches here and has the flip to confirm them even further, but actually manages to snag core control for a second there instead. It'll be defended away by Bloom.
Fiery now with the strike resets, one barrier down, looking for two, has the flip available, has plenty of energy on the entire team. PPL rushing forward, looking for an angle, but it goes a little bit wide. That's one flip down already. Average Alex survives. Coin's onslaught, good timing on the flip by Coin, but unable to get the barrier, does force out the flip from Bloom, and the energy has stabilized for a little bit. For Pass, but a double banish means an offense, a flip out from Average Alex, a kill combo from the Rune from midfield. And now PPL on this power play are looking to take the barrier.
Fiery looking worse for wear. Very little staggered, no evade, but keeps the offense strong, retreats for a little orb. Coin with the Flame Flurry trying to finish him off. Little combo there between Tempo and Coin trying to kill Average Alex, but the forwards of Pass stay strong, but the barriers fall. Tempo with a flip here, but it's the Bell Ringer that sings it wide and puts Pass on the board for the series.
A little bit awkward there, but, you know, it happens. X in the midfield. Bell Ringer trying to help out. Sometimes the core gets routed the wrong way, and Fiery this time routing it the right way. A really early barrier take. Tempo Melon and Mangoes. Basically 2 flips available though, and that's going to be hard to get through for PPL.
Yeah, the Ensnare Drums coming out early. Tempo and Coin holding strong in the midfield. The Firewall Sentry comes in to support. Tempo looks for a cheeky little kill there, but Fiery spots it and evades. That's Mango's flip out. Bloom already has a flip, despite burning one very early last point. And it's Pass's barriers that go down first. X Maximus in front of the goal, kills Mangoes, and it's a power play for PPL.
Great glitch pop, but now Coin's left all alone, flips it away, resources gone, punch attempted, but it's PPL who have a calm, collected passing play, close out the point, close out the set, and the first draft approaches. So scary when the Rune is first pick.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all that Average Alex grabbed the set MVP there. And so many fantastic options in this draft. I've got to think that Perfect Form is probably the pick, but you do have Spark here. With Spark of Resilience still up, maybe going for that Spark is a nice option. But he actually just lets the draft hang. He's going to let that X pick up Perfect Form instead. Certainly Fiery's appreciative of that, and he'll opt for Siege Machine instead. A little bit more duration on those pillars. Mango's not upset at all with Twin Drive Atlas. Likewise, Bloom with extra haste on the Mako. But Coin's dash punches are going to be a little more deadly with heavy impact. You know, Saya, I've said it once and I'll say it again. This is, as Coin immediately gets payoff from the heavy impact, this is the patch of thises. Everybody gets what they want almost every draft. It's incredibly hard to deny good builds away from the enemy team. There's just always fantastic pickups.
Yeah, I did expect someone to go Spark there though, right? It's a peak performance start. That Spark of Resilience later on would be huge, but everyone went for immediate power, and we could see why. Pass need that immediate power to get back in the game. They find 2 KOs already in this point. They're pushing forward for the second barrier as well. And Bloom continuing to defend fantastically, but eventually a flip comes in, defended away by a strike from Bloom, but a strike war afterwards from Coin will right that injustice here. But Fiery rushing in with the X Maximus, looking for 2 barriers, and getting both on the continued play.
Tempo Melon will burn the defensive flip there. She's almost to stacks on stacks already, but a double banish in front of the net. Bell Ringer forces Mango's flip out, but it gets sent back over to Coin and Tempo. Nice 90-degree clear from Bloom. We'll get it back to his forwards. They're in front of the net now. Bloom still with a defensive flip, but doesn't need it. Gets the clear, and a Night Market angle gets another score for PPL.
Oh no, PPL not Not going to be too sad about that one, though. You know, like, we take those 1-0 up our PPL now. A bit of an own barrier there from Average Alex, but all is okay. Tempo Melon trying to get a breakaway. Coin trying to push forward, but it's hard to get past the Mako, but not hard if you win those strike wars, like Coin is doing right now. Pushing forward again, going for the dash punch. Perfect banish by Average Alex prevents Tempo from scoring that goal, and PPL continue to survive in the point.
Yeah, it's rare that you see a hard read with Banish like that, I'd say. Like, it is a bit of a difficult ability to land already, and then calling out your opponent's blink like that to just immediately shut down their offense. I mean, who needs a freaking Dubu wall or an Atlas projection when you've just got an Average Alex in the midfield? His flip does go wide, and the barrier advantage is still on the side of Pass. And now the player advantage as Bloom gets KO'd in the back of his own net. Tempo Melon snags the double KO for the point.
Yeah, Bloom DI'd into the net a little bit, trying to make sure the core didn't get on the wrong side of the Drummond base, but Coin capitalizing immediately. The heavy impact putting in so much work with that extra knockback here.
Yeah, now they have 3 core flips to their name moving into this next point. Meanwhile, PPL is a little at a loss for energy after facing so many KOs in the previous point. Coin will burn his flip right here, and it floats up to Tempo Melon, who manages to grab the barrier. There's the pass, and the strike war win against Average Alex. We'll get another point from Coin for Pass. This is the first lead that they've had so far this match.
Yeah, and Coin's been playing really, really well this set so far in these first 3 points, getting the KOs, getting the strike wars, importantly, against Bloom. And generally, you don't see brawlers winning too many strike wars against the goalie, right? It's kind of the goalie's job to make sure those are unfavorable for the brawler, or else game time would be a lot shorter in Omega Strikers. So Coin winning so many of those, converting so often and so reliably is huge for Pass, and a win here would guarantee them playoffs.
Yeah, and Pass are playing this midfield very well, rotating the core around every 5 seconds or so. They're swapping sides of the field. Coin and Tempo is always either linked up with Mangoes or Coin for those passing lanes. And Fire and the Average Alex don't really have the range to be able to block it until they get this buff from Bloom. And that is the momentum that they needed to start grabbing barriers here. Fiery pops the X Maximus. There's Average Alex's flip, and Fiery strike wars Mangoes on his own defensive flip to get the second barrier. Another momentum boost for PPL, and the bell ringer ties up the set.
As well as Pass are playing, this is still the undefeated PPL. The PP Legends are legendary in this season. 8-0 wins against all the other top teams.
PP Legends have always been legendary.
That's true. they have. They had a stint in Nassau after all. And a flip quickly. Fiery taking out the goalie. The rapid offense accelerates so quickly. And the pillar is perfect to get around the firewall sentry. As well as Pass played that set, it vanishes in an instant. PPL, the ones who erase the scoreboard, make it a 2-0.
That was a 15-second goal. Just rapid fire burst of scoring potential there. And another set MVP for Average Alex. Fight or Flight, very nice pickup here. I like it. I think a lot of runes would have been tempted to go Monumentalist or Cast Last there, but this gives him that little edge of speed and also shuts down Tempo Melon's speed build. She's got a lot of speed going. She'll have to settle for size instead. A little bit of a double size deny from Fiery on the X, but he'll opt for a Spark instead. That's even more haste on Bloom's Mako, which is going to be deadly. We're seeing him use it right off of kickoff here, and Fiery and Average Alex just get to take full control of the game for the 5 or 6 seconds that ability is up. I'm not entirely sure what the duration is on it, but it's a long time when you have that amount of speed. These forwards just get to rule the match for a few seconds.
Yeah, and with the builds coming online, like you said, the Mako speed is definitely one of the key points here. This is looking so difficult for Pass. The speed difference is quite significant, and Coin is forced to position in such a way that he can't easily cancel the speed coming out of Bloom. And that is really bad. A double bandage will make it even more difficult. And if Fiery gets one good touch and the speed starts getting rolling and the slick kicks start activating, then it gets really, really rough. But a good corner defense there from Pass does delay the PPL offense quite a bit here. But Average Alex flipped by Coin and the barrier taken. Coin has been so on point.
That was an insane angle from Coin to find that second barrier. Now Tempo gets the flip here, pushes Bloom out of the way. Coin, I mean, I gotta say, even though Tempo scored the goal, that was a Coin MVP point right there. That was some actual, like, pixel perfect gameplay. Everything from the spot studs to the insane flip angle. I mean, that was just beautiful right there from Pass, but especially Coin.
Yeah, rushing in to prevent the pillar onto Tempo as well, making sure the midfielder stays alive here. And Coin, another dash punch in, 4 KO streak. Looking like the difference maker here. A missed flip from Mangoes is rough, but Tempo with a strike war. Another strike war, 2 in a row for Tempo Melon. 2-0 up now, our Pass. And despite the speed on the Mako, despite the speed on Average Alex, this might be the set that they use to turn the game around.
Yeah, it looks like when that Mako speed isn't up, Pass have so much momentum because Tempo has a ton of speed, and she just picked up a size awakening in that last draft. So now she's rocking one of the best builds for taking these midfield interactions and winning strike wars. And then she's an Aimi. You can always just blink to wherever you need to be if you need to. So Tempo's just kind of everywhere in the midfield, and Coin has turned on a switch. Like, I don't even think it was what he picked up in the draft. Like, legitimately, this is just a whole new Coin. He's doing exactly what he needs to put Pass back in this game and take a set.
Yeah, we'll see if Fiery and Average Alex can turn this one around. They do have speed after all. The speed buff looking quite massive. But Mangoes is rotating cooldowns quite efficiently. Coin as well, but the bandage comes in, traps the core, puts it into a great position. A good snipe from Bloom. Not quite enough. Fiery staggered in the corner. Needs to be so careful here. Tries to go for a dash strike, but it doesn't quite work. Average Alex now keeping it away from Coin, trying to put a good pillar down. But Coin now finds the dribble. Dash punch, not quite enough against the drum and bass, but that does burn the important cooldown for PPL.
Yeah, Tempo's about to get a flip here, though, to contest Bloom's own defensive flip. And the barrier advantage is still in the favor of Pass. Tempo Melon and Coin keeping the offense up. They trade KOs, though. Coin killing Bloom. Fiery finding Tempo Melon on the edge. It's a reset of Tempo Melon stacks as both players are now about to come online. And Fiery makes a solo hold against Mangoes. Both of them having flips now, ripe to close out the set, but there's still a small chance that the PP Legends could find the needle to thread this one through, keep the set alive.
They definitely could here. Tempo trying to be forced out, but especially with the Atlas Seal. Oh no, a missed flip from Average Alex. That is devastating. That's the meter that PPL needed to get this point with. Mango still maintaining the barrier, making sure. Oh, overextension though. And now PPL have a chance. One good shot, one good rune pillar could change it here. But Mangoes has the core speed as well. Pass up to Tempo. The firewall sentry is almost enough, but not quite. And Tempo gets taken out now. A power play for PPL. A great expanse top side. Coin with a perfect shot at the perfect time. Pass stay alive in the game.
And that's a 3-0 set for Pass. I mean, if you thought that the PP Legends were the only one that could run circles on the core strike field, you were sorely mistaken. There are 2 sparks here on the board for Fiery, which means he's guaranteed one of them, but Mangoes could potentially deny Rezil, I guess, would be the one he would want. And there we go. Fiery gets Rezil with peak performance. That's a big boost of power. Even more cooldowns, though, for Mangoes with Hot Shot. Extra special on the Mako, always nice, and timeless on the Aimi. Yeah, again, like, I'm calling out awakenings that are normally just like big buffs on these characters, right? All 6 of these players just picked up pretty much exactly what they would have wanted from that draft. It is baffling how hard it is to navigate the drafts in this patch. And Fiery is freaking punching people off the map as we enter set 4.
He's got a lot more durability, a lot more cooldowns. Doesn't have to fear anything, really, other than getting knockback KO'd. And he could be the one doing knockback KOs as well. A great banish Average Alex, but the angle's not quite enough to send Coin off the edge. And Coin as well is a little bit tanky. The ticks on the health bar getting quite numerous here as Coin looks for an opportunity to find a dash punch or something. But Tempo with the glitch pop, perfectly timed, and dash punch follow from Coin off the firewall sentry. PPL looking a little bit lost as Pass has come online.
Yeah, well, and I'm loving how Pass are navigating offense as well. It's it's just fun because like Aimee and Juliet, they're both a little limited in what they can cover because you can only really target where your glitch pop is at any given time. But if you have Coin feeding the core to Mloom where he has to strike it, and then Tempo can read where that strike needs to be for Mloom's best clear option, you can get some really, really clean plays like the one we saw last point. And they've got one coming online right now as they find a power play by KOing Average Alex.
And Mloom now running out of cooldowns. Tempo with the flip available. Coin and Tempo looking for an opportunity, but cut off by Fiery this time. Top side, Pillar helps, and a hit stun from Coin makes it so difficult to navigate for Mloom. Flip available for Fiery though. That unbanished port is going to be so dangerous here. To the top side, Soaring Angle, almost a save, but Fiery unfazed has the coverage, and it's 1-1.
That was a Slick Kick's difference right there, I think. You would normally not have that much speed as X to find the core on that bottom side, but 30% boost after striking off that core flip. But Fiery's gone now. No more Slick Kick procs for the next 13 seconds. It'll be a power play for Pass.
Tempo with a strike war win. Coin feeding it, like you said, just feeding it forwards where Tempo can make a play on it. But now it's Fiery and Average Alex's turn. Expanse burned, looking for another opportunity as the strike reset comes through. Fiery, both barriers taken. Average Alex a pillar to send the core forwards, and the Ensnare drums to keep it trapped. Mango sending it around, but it will be enough is the question as Fiery KOs the goal yet again, caught holding back and out. Average Alex now almost at a flip, and this point is going awry for Pass, but again, it's not impossible if they can find a way out. But Average Alex going to seal the deal with a flip, 1 goal away from taking the first game.
Both of these brawlers, they can just smell a KO from a mile away. They'd like, at just a blink of an eye, if you step just a centimeter too far back in the goal box, you have Fiery or Coin right on top of you. And your team is going to be in a world of hurt until you are alive again. A clutch resurrection, though, from Mangoes. Very, very nice on the Atlas ult there. And then Coin punishes with the dash punch right there. Yeah, this is some stereotypical night market bullcrap, everyone.
It really is. Night market classic here. Coin and Tempo and Mangoes all having flips right now. It's going to be difficult to defend for Mloom as Coin burns one early. Perfectly aimed to get the barrier in that tiny gap. Tempo can now use one to score here. Approaching the core, going for a tricky glitch block play, eventually leading into a KO that Coin creates, but the goal still not found and 2 flips are down. If Fiery and Mloom can weather the storm, they come out of this quite positive, but not quite enough. Doesn't find the exact dribble. But on the bright side, PPL burned 2 flips. I think they're not too sad about that.
Yeah, if you can, at the very least, expend your enemy's resources on the power play, that's a little bit of a compromise that you can make off of getting a player KO'd, right? Fiery's about to have a flip of his own here, though. There it comes. Yeah, I would have thought that he had Catalyst with the way that flip showed up, but I guess he just found a sneaky hit onto somebody. Coin is looking worse for wear right here. Almost dies to the bell ringer there on the edge of the field. Saves himself with the Flame Flurry, though. And Tempo finds the barriers on the other side of the map. The X Maximus kills Coin. Tempo and Mangoes both with flips, but they are not in the power play is not in their favor in the slightest. Potential for Pass to bring it back. Also potential for PPL to close out the game right here.
Coin now looking for a dribble. Oh, what a dribble off the center by Coin. Perfectly angled. In control of the night market destiny is Coin as we head to a 5th set with a well-deserved MVP for the Juliet.
Yeah, Coin congrats on the set MVP. Like you said, Sai, absolutely well-deserved. And what a reward here. Either Adrenaline Rush or the 1-2 punch actually opts to just keep this Sai scaling going instead. You do have Might of the Colossus on that Juliet. And with the Among Titans buff that Tempo Melon has just picked up, that is another big burst of power as well as range on those Juliet abilities. Fiery does have spec training at his disposal here, so that X is also going to be hitting harder into the wall. But that's a Catalyst on Atlas and a Deadeye on Bloom. Not super transformative goalie awakenings, but Mangoes will get some more defensive flips, and maybe Bloom can help Fiery and Average Alex to KO from afar.
Yeah, but Coin's looking incredibly massive. The punch covers half the goal, basically, at the moment, and that's going to be really difficult to deal with. But maybe damage is the answer here. The Mako damage, not to be underestimated, and Deadeye is going to pump that up quite a bit, but Coin getting a quick KO, and the power play looking dangerous here. Good evade to make sure Fiery can't get a co-combo, but Fiery says, I'll get it anyway with the spec training, and now heads in for a potential barrier take. Not quite just yet.
Tempo Melon still holding on to these stacks, but oh my gosh, the Bull Rush through the Firewall Sentry finds the barrier. Mango's forced to burn a flip against that X Maximus. Coin having to pull all the way back onto defense here, but I don't think he has any abilities to really pressure Fiery and Average Alex here. He saves him for offense, but Bloom actually just gets him away with the perfect pitch right there. Tempo Melon on 134 stacks now. Still no points in this fifth set. Both teams holding on for now, but it is a barrier advantage towards the side of PPL. There's Tempo Melon's stacks. The point lasts long enough for her to get him here, and Mangoes manages to revive Coin there on the bottom. It's, I mean, literally line for line call outs from both of these teams. There's another one. The Pillar catches Tempo Melon in front of her own net. The first point of the fifth set will go to PPL.
And those kinds of points get so much scarier when you're heading into overtime against the Rune, right? Those creations, those bounces, those night market ricochets are so deadly, especially in the open net, but a kill combo perfectly found by Tempo. Average Alex still getting in there, though. A flip available, 2 barriers taken. Average Alex doing it all right now, surviving against Coin as well, getting out of there. Coin with the flip to try and turn things around, but the night market bounce is not in his favor. And Tempo and Mangoes desperately trying, but the momentum stopped in its tracks by Average Alex, who continues to push forward, look for the strike wars, look for the goal on the open net. Not quite found, but Fiery's back and they're looking for the core. One good bounce off a Pillar could turn the tide, could bring PPL to another match point here, but so far Passer holding on.
Yeah, that was a lot of cooldowns burned by Mangoes there. I think he'll have most of them back up by now, though, with the help of that hot shot. Yep, we're already seeing he's comfortable enough firing out Atlas primaries into the midfield. I think he's doing fine in the cooldowns department. But yeah, Pass still holding strong here, and the offensive pressure is consistently in their favor. Nice cancel of the Mako secondary by Coin right there. But it is Fiery that's getting beat up on the other side of the field. The barriers go down. Fiery's got to flip in front of the net, but only if PPL can get it to him. And it's the perfect strike into glitch pop play by Tempo Melon that makes sure that never happens.
There was a little bit of miscommunication between Average Alex and Bloom. They both thought the other one was going to get the barrier cover, and they both walked away from the core at that moment. A little unfortunate, but that's sometimes how it happens. Unfortunate that it happened in such a critical set, though, as Fire and Average Alex are trying to get these barriers quickly. But so far, the defense from Pass has been very solid.
What a double banish there. Oh, another clutch resurrection, though. I mean, I'll say it, Pass, they're lucky that PPL have only been able to find a KO here and there, because if it was happening any more than that, these power plays would be absolutely devastating. But Mangoes is quick on the draw with these Atlas ults. There's more barriers down for them. Coin and Tempo, both with flips, but Coin actually has to burn his there preemptively just to stay alive. Barrier advantage in the favor of PPL, but not for much longer. Both of these nets are now open.
Tempo with the flip available, needs to be very careful, is Fiery, who might get KO comboed off the edge with no elusives available now, but so much speed to work with the pillar, the core speed, all in the favor of PPL for the moment, but it drifts back and Bloom now in a little bit of danger, but the core rocket to the other side. Tempo, flip available, still needs to find a chance to use it as Coin rushes forward, almost an own goal from Average Alex, barely prevented by the save, but now the glitch pops are coming in. The core speed is quite ridiculous as Average Alex defends on the bottom end. So much core speed again from the glitch pops. Tempo trying to find a cyber swipe, but not quite enough. Fiery and Average Alex can't get a clean pass through. The pillar almost good enough, but not quite, as the Firewall Sentry will defend the top side, and Pass are continuing to hold on. Fiery trying to find a strike war, but it's still so difficult.
Nice evasion of the ensnare drums by Coin right there. The Mako secondary not able to hold. Coin manages to find a strike in there, but another pillar. I mean, this dude, he's unstoppable. He's an absolute menace, especially in overtime. Average Alex has been calling out Tempo Melon strikes in overtime without fail this game, and managed to get another point. I think that's the third point this game that we've seen just Average Alex calling out Tempo's strike there.
Yeah, and it won't hit the perfect angle like that every time, but when it does, it is most likely a point, and that is huge for PPL. That gives them a big win condition from the midfield line pretty much in overtime. But Coin with a Strike War win. These Strike War wins from Coin have been way too frequent to just be a statistical anomaly. Coin is playing so well in this series so far, but right now, the main character might be Average Alex's Rune, as once again the core is in its hands. We're ticking down to overtime, 20 seconds left, and Fiery gets one barrier already.
Yeah, a massive speed buff for Mako allows Fiery to actually chase the core up, but it slips through the ensnare drums right there. How did that even happen?
Coin punched it from inside, but the punch was so big that it hit the core while it was still outside the ensnare drums. That guy has so much size. That guy has like 5 size awakenings.
What is he rocking? Let's see. He's got I think he has almost 60% size, maybe a little more than 60%. It's pretty close to that number. Yeah, absolutely massive, especially considering that they just nerfed all those awakenings. We're in a set 5.5 heater now, though, and PPL are the ones applying pressure to the barriers here. They'll be the first to get them as well.
Flip available for Average Alex, rushing forward, misses the flip though. Good delay by Mangos, who is working on a flip of his own. Needs to be very careful of the back of the net, as Fiery with the spec training could be a threat. Fiery now looking to use the middle speed gate to try and rush forward, but these Ensnare drums will halt the offense for a little bit. Average Alex perfect pillar placement means that Fiery gets one more attempt at it. Another pillar descended forward yet again, midfielding on a constant back and forth from Average Alex with these pillars. Coin though, breakaway, forcing a flip out of Bloom, but misses it, hits the wall instead of the corner, and now they're in a little trouble. It's an open net. Anyone could score here in overtime. So much core speed potentially, as the glitch pops are going to be scary, but those pillars are the main character. Coin tried to make the difference here, but it's looking so difficult as, oh no, Tempo Melon dashes right in to the Ensnare drums, and that's a power play for PPL.
Yeah, and Fiery burned Mango's flip there, knocking him out of the way of the core. He's got cooldowns here, but no defensive flip left to his name. Tempo is back on the board now. Drops the Firewall Sentry, but it immediately gets hit out, and another pillar! Average Alex! Oh, when are we taking the average out of this guy's name? Slap an above average on there sometime. Well, I mean, this is a Rune MVP, right? Yeah, we're listening to the Rune MVP music right now, everybody. That is a well-deserved Average Alex MVP.
If you think about it, like, this is Alex's average performance, you know? Like, his average level is this high, and that's more impressive than being above average. Wow.
This is almost 400 redirects on Rune. To everyone complaining about how Rune never gets enough redirects, he doesn't get to touch the core a whole lot, oh, his stat lines are so dinky. Yeah, excuses. Look at Average Alex. That is an example of how to pull off midfield on this character. Yeah, that's freaking impressive. And 100 shots each between the two forwards of PPL. That is an impressive amount of offense from both of them. It was matched by Coin and Tempo Melon on the other side, but still impressive numbers. Incredibly impressive numbers.
Yeah, but I would just like to shout out Coin in particular, right? The numbers were impressive, but so were the individual plays. Strike warning Bloom so many times. And that is not an easy feat, strike warning the goalie of the top team in NASA to create this kind of close game. And if you look, the goals were even. They did score the same amount of goals. PPL were just a little bit better at winning the sets.
Yeah, 11 and 11. Wow. And that was 70k damage out of Fiery, by the way. Yeah, I don't even know where that came from, because I don't even really think that he had damage awakenings. I think that was literally just him landing every single ability, and I guess he had a lot of them because he had Spark of Focus. But yeah,
spec training,
wow.
So he was just punching, and then the Atlas was
That's
healing.
true. He did have
so
spec training.
yeah, he kind of had like immortal punching bags because of the Atlas.
Yeah, that's a good match to start us off on, and we're jumping into the second game of the series now. That was PPL's map pick. Now we're looking at pass on. Is this Tycho? Yeah, this is Tycho Temple that we're headed to next. Kind of Night Market 2, honestly. You got a funky little mechanic in the middle of the map, and the rest of it is kind of laned. It is it's just Tycho Temple, or Tycho Temple is just Night Market, but everything's bouncy.
Yeah, and a lot of the same characters are viable on both maps. No surprises there. We'll see how it goes.
I bet we see a reprisal of the average Alex rune if Past opts not to ban it here.
Yeah, another character that could come out that wouldn't usually come out on Night Market is potentially the Estelle. Estelle, better on Tycho than Night Market, I believe, by quite a significant margin. So if the rune gets taken off the board, a non-zero chance that we see the Estelle instead from average Alex.
There's also, if I'm not mistaken, average Alex plays Drek, and I actually don't hate Drek here. I think this is one of the first patches in a long time that Drek has been really viable, and he's a ton of fun to play. But yeah, I believe that average Alex has a Drakkar in the back pocket, could pull it out here. With perfect form on the board, the bans will be X and Mako, and no surprises here. PPL will be picking up Atlas as their first pick. Want to really make sure that they lock down that strong melee goalie backline.
Yeah, and Mangos was very good on it in the previous game, so taking it away is also a great side effect to have. These next two picks are going to pretty much determine the entire game, though, and it's going to be Now and... I think that Pass could use this to deny something away from PPL, perhaps, but it's tough, right? You don't want to pick Rune when you're not 100% comfortable on it, and you didn't ban Rune, so there's the Asher.
I think there's a big argument for Asher. Yeah. Oh, is it Asher?
Yeah,
wow,
Asher.
okay.
Wow. You're a knower.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the chat. I wouldn't know where to look for this chat, so I just predicted that. Yeah, okay, now Asher, I like it. Mako is off the table. I'm not sure what Pass will be looking to run in the goalie slot, or maybe this is Mangoes on Now goalie, but that seems unlikely considering the map that we've got rocking here. I guess they could also flex Asher back to the goalie position, but Coin, I believe, is probably going to be the one we see on that Asher pick. Yeah, there's Fiery Zentaro and the reprisal of the average Alex rune.
Yeah, this PPL draft just looking so strong. It's perfect form start. They got Zentaro, they got the rune, they got. Well,
it's also like their favorites, right? I mean, Mloom. I don't think that Atlas is Mloom's favorite, but like Fiery, well known for the Zentaro. Average Alex needs no introduction on the rune. We just saw the insane plays that he's able to pull off. Just super consistent rune player. So it's a very comfortable draft for PPL. I look at this and they're not going to be shaking in their boots at all.
Yeah, comfortable, and also three of the best characters on perfect form start. That's a little crazy, no?
That's true. I forgot about the perfect form. Wow. That's spooky.
That's a little bit scary. I think pass. This draft not looking too good for pass because although they do have characters that are solid on Taiko Temple, I feel like the bad things will start happening. When the core bounces around, when the damage comes through. I don't think good things are in their future.
There is always the cheeky win condition of you just get an Asher build that's a little too good to stop. Taiko is one of those maps where, like, if Asher scales enough, she kind of becomes an uncounterable character. We've seen it happen time and time again. I don't know if anybody was watching Carmine on the Asher last week in Nassel. It was a little disgusting. He would just get Monu every game and then drop Monu Asher ult on the goalie. And obviously that was a ranged goalie back then. These goalies are going to have a little bit of an easier time dealing with something like that. But the point is, there's a lot of win conditions with this Asher character if PPL doesn't keep their wits about them.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in seeing if this is Asher goalie or Dubu goalie, honestly, because it's Taiko Temple, right? The Dubu forward, not bad at all here.
And Coin has played quite a bit of it. There's a chance.
Yeah,
it is.
Okay, this game got a lot nicer.
Brawler.
This game got a lot more interesting.
I'm so down for it.
Coin's gonna have a little bit of trouble staying alive, but other than that, this Dubu could be the scoring factor that Pass needs here.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about Asher having some disgusting goal confirms. I don't think that there's a single goal confirm more disgusting than Tofu Fortress dropped in the enemy goal box. It's already coming out. It doesn't secure control of the core, but Coin already at the Dubu forward shenaniganery.
And Mangos and Coin both seem very proficient at the angles off the center, similar to Night Market in that way, but the Taiko angles are even faster. Tempo to the bottom side. Great strike shot by Bloom to save the day, but the Spanish is awkward. Coin looking for a strike for a win. Expands to save the day again from Bloom, but Coin is continuing to be such a presence in the enemy goal box.
Yeah, and Tempo is catching these rotations with such precision. Fiery is there to win that interaction, though. He'll send it back over to Mangos briefly, but Mangos still has both of these barriers up. He's not sweating right now. It's 3 flips up for Pass and an open goal in front of them. They're making quite a strong showing for this first point.
They are, but you still have to be careful. A missed flip from Coin does turn things around a little bit as the core speed's picking up on these rune pillars. The red cores are coming out, and plenty of cooldowns, of course, for the perfect form. And Bloom setting it around the world yet again, and when the core speed picks up, I think that there's a slight favor towards PPL with the rune, with the Atlas. And oh no, a crazy own barrier from Tempo Melon, of course, getting the KO in the end. That was the main point, but still, it's the barriers down for Pass.
Yeah, the infamous accidental anything on Taiko. I mean, quite frankly, anything can happen here. Average Alex wins the 50 there against Mangos. Very well played. Just had to be patient. And I mean, Mangos even read the angle there. It was just a little too late on the dash, unfortunately. Fiery actually beating the log off of kickoff here, but it's an early lead for PPL.
Yeah, early lead, but Coin with Tofu Fortress in the midfield this time, trying to advance to core. Might have been a little impatient though, as there's nothing left to secure a barrier with, and now PPL are continuing to press their lead forward. Fiery with the dribbles, with both barriers down, looking to extend this one. The pillar disappears just in time for Pass, as Bloom with an accidental dribble own barrier, but it's still looking quite difficult for Pass here.
Yeah, PPL now kind of playing the reverse of the previous point, getting very early barriers here, but Tempo and Coin are here to reverse the narrative once more. They get barriers of their own, Coin with flip in front of the net, and both of these goals are now open. Fiery, the first to burn a flip there, but it's caught by the pillar on the other side. Tempo Melon healing up in the midfield, goes back to grab an orb as well, but it's Coin there, somersaulting, Misses the flip onto the core, but kills Mloom with the flip in the process. And the goal comes not too shortly after.
Well, well played by Coin there to create space. And that's sometimes what you have to do, right? Sometimes you can trap the goalie in the corner with a Tofu Fortress instead of using it for the goal instead. And with the pass splitter, if Mangos can step up like that, that's two creations that are so scary that could be scoring here. Tempo looking for a strike war win. Bit of a dangerous spot to be in at the moment, but the log is perfect. Coin punishing the outward strikes from PPL as both barriers fall yet again.
Yeah, Fiery. Burning a lot of cooldowns here, but of course, this is perfect for Zentaro. Every time you see that Zed ult come out, it just means that he's refreshed his entire kit, assuming that he hit enough stuff with it, which this is Fiery we're talking about. He hit as much as he could with it. Average Alex and Mloom both have flips here, but they find a way to not use them, burning a lot of cooldowns, but keeping the energy burst alive in the process. Another point where Mangos just keeps a hold of the barriers and doesn't really seem to be sweating at all. Every once in a while, this dude just goes on a defensive hot streak and seems like nothing can get through him at all whatsoever.
That is kind of Asher goalie lore against Zentaro, though, right? Unless you can find a way around the Asher goalie, Asher is very well equipped to deal with Zentaro in terms of just not getting scored on. Zentaro's scoring confirms aren't as concrete as the other brawlers, and his main power is in catching the core. But when there's an Asher primary in your face, made indestructible by the allied field, it's a little difficult, but this time PPL finding their way around, and Fiery will sneak in the goal. That's how you dismantle the Asher goalie.
Sneaks in the goal and on 0 stagger as well, which means he'll get to keep alive that energy bar, probably find a flip early on in this next point. That means we're at 2 flips apiece for each of these teams. Now at 2-1 in set 1. Tofu Fortress coming out early to grab some barriers.
Flip available for Coin. Big opportunity for a pass perhaps, but no, erased off the map by a double pillar. Average Alex going crazy, but the pass splitter erases Fiery. The pillar helps out Average Alex in getting 1 barrier, but it's just an even game here as the brawlers will respawn. They both vanished without a trace, but they're back now.
That's probably the most comical way that all of those KOs could have happened. I mean, just a hilarious burst of abilities to cause that sequence to happen. But the Tofu Fortress is back, and Tempo Melon is there to back up Coin with the speed boost. That'll bring their barriers down. Oh, Fiery almost found it there. But just a Dubu in the goal box. I mean, come on, you have a Dubu and an Asher to goal box. These guys have got double goalie. How can you win against this?
Double creations that are usually indestructible. It's tough. Average Alex, though.
Usually. Asterisk.
Yeah.
What a save from Mangos.
Really, really good dash to get down there. Now Coin with the Tofu Fortress flip. Unfortunately, doesn't get a crazy bounce off of it to try and mix up Mloom. Now the pillar awkward. Mloom can't quite catch the core with the strike. And we're headed to a 0.5 of this goofy Tycho game.
I do like the Tofu Fortress on top of the flip. It is the whole idea of how can you know what I'm doing if I don't even know what I'm doing? Like, there's absolutely no way to tell which way the core is going to come out of the Tofu Fortress pachinko machine. Like, anybody's guess is as good as anybody else's. And Coin just shoots the Hail Mary there. It doesn't come out that time, but I hope he does it again and hits the jackpot.
Yeah, this time not going gambling, looking for damage onto Fiery instead, and that damage is looking quite valuable here. The res forced out, no elusive available. Fiery could be taken off for the second time here, but Average Alex has a flip. Fiery routing around Mangos, but this Asher is so good at defending the single barrier here as Average Alex and Fiery look desperately for an opportunity, but Tempo helping out makes it look a little bit impossible.
Yeah, Mangos on defensive hot streak once more. These barriers, so easy for an Asher goalie to defend, but it is the energy advantage on the side of PPL. They opt not to burn it for the barriers. Still have it up for the open net, though, and the momentum swings back over to PPL. holding these flips until the goal is open by the looks of things. All three of them now with flip. Coin back here to help on defense. Wins a strike war against the Oni's Blade and the Obscura Pillar right there. But he is looking worse for wear. No evade. Low on stagger. Flip from Fire. He'll grab the second barrier. And both of these teams have equalized once more on 0.5.
It's looking kind of dangerous, though, for PPL. If they can't score here, Coin is going to walk up and find a crazy creation play, but maybe the crazy creation play is the pillar. It sends backwards, but a great clear by Average Alex. Bloom! Oh, doesn't quite get the strike after the primary. And Coin finds the goal. 3-2. Pass are the ones up now, and Tempo with the first pick. So many good awakenings for now to pick from.
Yeah, I think that you could go Spark here. You could go Peak Performance. You could snag the early Among Titans. It's just speed, yeah, and I think Among Titans is absolutely the right answer. I think that Size Dubu is actually, like, absolutely disgusting. I mean, we saw what Coin can do with Size last game. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he opts for it again. There it is. Demolitionist Dubu, which also means he gets a little bit of bonus cooldown reduction when he takes those barriers. On the other hand, Average Alex and Fiery appear to be setting up for a little bit more damage, which I think is smart. I mean, you called it out at the start of the game, Saya. This Dubu does have a massive hitbox, and he is not unkillable. And yeah, that's exactly what's going on right here. Fiery and Average Alex are just hitting Coin with absolutely every ability they can.
Fortunately, there was also a little bit of an own barrier there from Tempo, and the goal being open means that there's so many ways to get around this Asher. But Coin is looking impenetrable right now, taking up half the field. This guy only has 2 Size Awakenings. What's happening?
He also starts out with big Dubu hitbox. I don't actually know if Dubu gets more benefit from Size Awakenings because he has a naturally bigger hitbox. I'm not sure if that's true or not.
Size is percent based, right? So the bigger characters do get more raw size, I guess. It's a little bit scary here if you're dealing with Coin, because those strikes are looking like they're free wins. I think Dubu just looks bigger because he's bigger, you know, the model.
Yeah, they do cover like a third of the midfield lanes, but Fiery manages to sneak another one past, threads the needle there between Tempo and Mangoes. I didn't even point out Mangoes and Bloom, actually the two to end up with some scaling awakenings from that draft. Mangoes opting for the Spark, Bloom opting for the Peak Performance. Bloom will be getting a little bit more initial benefit out of that, but both of them are going to be competing for the later Sparks to get a massive boost of speed, which is even more valuable on these melee goalies. Mangoes finds a kill there with the flip, though, and defends it away, but it's traded by Bloom on the other side of the map.
Average Alex now working on a flip of his own, looking to try and get some hits on the core. Fiery, though, sends it away, and Bloom clears it out of Coin's grasp, but Coin is so big that his grasp is like the entire half of the field, barely unable to get the flip there. Thankfully if you're a PPL fan, because that could have been both barriers going down, as Average Alex now dealing extra damage to Coin and trying to take out this Dubu as soon as possible, or maybe just the barriers as Fiery gets it done.
Oh no, the bigger Oni's Blade is the final hit to take out Coin. I don't think he was expecting that because he wasn't stunned in the initial hit, and then the core just floats on through. That's an early 2-point lead in this set for PPL. And it looks like their dreams of damage and keeping Coin out of the game are coming along quite nicely.
Yeah, the double banish here allows them to push forward with more momentum. Fiery, though, that Zentaro stagger pool is not the greatest, and it's really showing here with all the chip damage when you go for corner offense. A perfect flip, though, and the log interrupted by the core, so Fiery not even taken out. It's a PPL damage advantage here as they push on for the goal.
Yeah, no longer with 2 melee goalies in the goal box. It's kind of 1.5 because there's always that risk that Coin just gets KO'd out of left field now. He does have the Now to help with the healing a little bit, but it seems like PPL is dealing a little too much damage for Tempo to respond to. There are some defensive flips here for pass. Fiery loses the strike war there, but Mangoes burns the flip. Coin actually manages to get a bit of a revenge KO there, but the barriers are still all up for Bloom, And all down for Mangoes. Coin is going to solve that problem right now. Gets the first barrier, but oh no, a dash in the wrong direction means that PPL take their first set of the game, tying it up 1-1.
And this draft's a little scary. There's plenty of good Zentaro Awakenings. That's heavy impact Zentaro with perfect form. Oh no. Doomsday has arrived.
Luckily, though, that is a second spark for Mangoes right behind. A big buff of scaling. And some nice stuff for Dubu here as well. Yeah, Stagger Swagger's massive. I don't know that it's going to... I don't know that Coin is ever going to be able to regen, actually, looking at this. I just now remembered that we're in a perfect form start. So everybody always has cooldowns up to cancel regeneration. Coin is going to have to pray that PPL leaves him alone long enough for that awakening to actually have any effect. But Pass do get a quick double barrier here in the third set. And they're showing that even in the face of perfect form, heavy impact, 1-2 punch Zentaro, what a build, by the way, they're holding strong.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how much longer they can hold. Fiery has all the cooldowns back now. Oh, gets bounced off and the dash extends. The knockback pretty much gets taken out. And that's a big power play now as Coin looking to go forward. But it's actually Tempo who routes around down to the primary. It's a 1-0 lead for Pass. And they survived Zentaro, that round at least.
Well, and Tempo Melon has clearly been doing a lot this game. I mean, I know she has because she's been playing these rotations absolutely pristinely. Really navigating now on this map really well. But is the first to hit level 10, and a double barrier is found. Saya, can you tell me what the frick happened there?
Coin got a perfect redirect and hit the corners of both barriers, and yeah, Coin just outplayed everyone so hard there. But Average Alex doing the same on the other end, a perfect pillar to take both barriers. And now this offense is looking so scary. If Fiery can get in there, stun away Coin, look for a flick, and oh, Mango's overthinking it a little bit, thinking that Fiery would have something to follow up on, but no, it was just a simple hit to the top corner.
Yeah, wow. What a sequence in that point. A little sad if you're Coin, you know, you make such a cool play, get the double barrier, and then the enemy team comes around and just does the same thing you did, but better because they actually score on the other side of it. It's frustrating, but that's the way it happens sometimes. He is looking worse for wear and stagger right now, but does manage to actually evade there to keep the natural regen up. Start an offense on the other side of that, and it's Fiery who's staggered on the other side of all that. The Atlas Celestial Expansion, Celestial Intervention will save him, but not for long! Somersault comes in.
Somersault comes in, changes that infinite energy generator, but in the wrong way. Perfect Tofu Fortress, that's what we were talking about at the start of the game, and that's the first of the game, really. Hasn't really found those too much, but when it happens, it is definitely one of the highlight goals.
Shiggy Wiggy on him, Coin. Well-deserved Shiggy Wiggy. We love to see a Dubu Shiggy Wiggy in every now and then.
Oh, and Coin using that massive size to win every strike or win every strike interaction. We might see another big Tofu Fortress coming out if they can set up for it. They got to watch out for Fiery. But if they can get the core path, if they can get in the good spot for Coin, that would be perfect. Walking down to the bottom side, Tofu Fortress. Oh, that was almost a huge opportunity if they could have found a pass up while Average Alex and Bloom were trapped in the bottom corner. But not quite just yet. As Bloom and Alex are desperately defending a flip available for Tempo, they get out of there, but only just barely.
Nice defense by Mangoes there. The barrier beam blocks away Fiery's attempt. Tempo still has this flip. Coin probably has a little bit more time until the Tofu Fortress is back, but he's still big and fast. Can certainly make a play on the goal still. And Mangoes holds these barriers strong. There's the Tofu Fortress coming out. Perfect form, helping to expedite those cooldowns a little bit. I'm a little surprised that Pass hasn't managed to squeak in the opportunity. It looks like Bloom and Average Alex are thwarting every attempt that they could possibly have here. Tempo is staggered with the flip. She doesn't even get the opportunity to use it. Bloom gets her with that astral projection, but Mangoes holds against Fiery's flip on the other side of the map. Quickly gets taken away thereafter, though.
And this pillar is so scary now. Average Alex in this overtime, setting up Coin, trying to block off a lane. But honestly, I think PPL are just fine with that. Routing to the bottom side now as a flip in from Average Alex. Finds the open side of the net on the top side. 2-2 now. 0.5 to determine who takes the lead.
Average Alex gets so much speed now as well. He is rocking Glass Cannon. 618 speed when Glass Cannon is up, and 730 when he procs Mag Souls. It's a lot of mobility to run around in the midfield. But what a catch from Tempo with the now secondary to keep the offensive pressure alive for Pass. They're not able to find a barrier quite yet, but they are holding possession, and Bloom is burning cooldowns by the second.
Watch out, though. Coin is looking dangerously low here. No evades available, so on death's door, and the damage being kept up. Finally gets a chance to regen as the barrier falls as well. Coin now exploding onto the offense, but needs to still be careful of the damage potential on Taiko Temple. The bounces could mean death so early on this map compared to some others, but it's PPL continuously on the defense here.
Yeah, PPL unable to catch a break against Coin and Tempo Melon. They're holding strong for now, though. I mean, this is perfect form Atlas. He's kind of got unlimited buttons, but they eventually run out. A small hole in the cooldowns means Pass are able to finally get the barriers down. Coin probably well on his way to another Tofu Fortress, and close to a flip here. Mungo's still with one barrier on the other side of the field, but Fiery finds the angle around him to take it down. Average Alex running up. Sharks in the water here as the Banish claims the goal and the set for the PP Legends.
Average Alex is the main character. Last game, this rune let through, and he is thriving on it. Another first pick available, and is looking more and more dire for Pass, as this is either going to be Timeless Crater or it's going to be Fight or Flight. It's probably Fight or Flight. That speed is going to be ridiculous now. Denied away from the Dubu, who can get bigger, yes, but goes for the missile prop instead. Needs to find a way to get these Tofu Fortresses in. But that leaves Twin Drive for the Atlas. And Bloom with Twin Drive perfect form is going to have unlimited cooldowns, but actually unlimited this time.
That does actually leave Fiery with not a whole lot. I don't think he's too upset with Big Fish. You get more size to win some more interactions, a little bit more survivability. You know, you've seen Fiery get KO'd a time or two. But certainly, you know, doesn't necessarily expedite what he has going on. It does just mean that you're a little closer to the wall at all points in time. If you're bigger, you're closer to the wall. Mangoes can push you into that wall a little bit easier.
Average Alex also incredibly low right now. One good opportunity could find the KO onto the rune. That's been getting it done for PPL, as Coin looking for an opportunity on the bottom side. Doesn't quite get anything concrete as the bounces are getting a little crazy. Tempo and Mangoes minding them just barely as the pass splitter sets up, but a good advantage to halt the momentum here. And so much damage onto Tempo and Coin. If Fiery can get a good Oni's Blade here on Tempo and Coin, okay, only onto Tempo, but that Dubu is looking worse for wear right now.
Still staggered, but is now regenning. Manages to get unstaggered. It's actually Tempo that gets taken off the field. I'm not even sure how. She's just gone now, okay? Someone killed her. Maybe it was just a stray Zen primary or a ban. I honestly couldn't tell you. The Mangoes is still rocking this barrier for now. Also has a defensive flip. And I almost guarantee you that there's another Tofu Fortress cooking up in Coin's back pocket.
Goes for a roll this time, and honestly good to not pull the trigger because Bloom is getting it out of there with great speed. More center bounces to mix up the angles right now. Bloom has flip available, but Atlas in the open net is pretty vulnerable after all. A great bounce from Bloom though to send it away. The expanse burned, but still staying alive. Fiery looking for a second bounce. It's Coin trying to set up, but there's no good opportunities for Coin. Tempo with the bounce. Now finally a chance for Coin. The Tofu Fortress sends it right through the rune pillar.
Shiggy Wiggy on him, Coin. No Shiggy Wiggy this time. You know what? He's dropping some respect there. I think Coin also recognizes that that goal was kind of bullcrap. But we're here for it. It's Dubu forward. It was either going to be bullcrap for Pass or bullcrap for PPL. And Coin is just happy to have the shenanigans rule in his favor. And it's the Tofu Pachinko machine. You know what? he every once in a while you hit the jackpot, and Coin is more than happy to have Lady Luck on his side.
Gobbling up some orbs to stay alive as well, but the barrier has fallen on the side of Pass. PPL continuing to go on the offense here, looking for a dribble, looking for a flip opportunity. But Coin with a Tofu Fortress will make sure one barrier falls. Infinite energy generator from Bloom, more than enough for a flip, kind of overflowing here. But still a dangerous spot as he sends it around Coin. Average Alex flip available, hit stunned away by Mangoes. But Alex, one more chance means a goal pretty much with a good aim on the flip. But Coin still staying alive thanks to the lifeline. And now it's a weird spot for PPL to be in.
Yeah, but PPL do still have 2 flips here. And Coin is having to burn the Tofu Fortress right there. And the core actually gets trapped on the other side. A little bit of a roll there in the Pachinko machine. But Average Alex goes for the shadow shot, but Mango sees it coming. Instead, it's an unfortunate own goal by Tempo Melon. And her now mine.
Really good elusive there, though, by Mangoes to not get caught by it. Good reactions, good recognition of the situation. But it was not enough to defend afterwards in the end. And now the rune on the kickoff, really advantage kickoff for PPL here as they put on the early pressure. Bloom steps up as well. The primary is lingering, putting on so much pressure as Fiery, low but not taken out. Coin also on Death's Door.
He does manage to find his way out of death, though. Narrowly evading it in the midfield there, quite literally, to go steal Bloom's orb. And now he's back on offense. Still taking a beating here. Actually is already staggered again. I mean, this dude cannot catch a break, but Coin is so good at playing his life in these situations. But it's Average Alex's ball now, and he's making plays with it.
Tempo, though, interrupting in the midfield, making sure Average Alex cannot just run forward and find everything. But that banish is pretty huge. Coin not taken out just yet, but chip damage is pretty valuable here to make sure he can't play too comfortably on the other side. Fiery now looking for the barrier take, stalling the core for a second. Bloom helping out as well, but Fiery's the one getting chipped out now. So much damage onto the Zentaro, forced to heal up in the Celestial intervention. But the pillars are so solid. Average Alex and Fiery looking for a flick, looking for anything to get this barrier, but it's so difficult against the Asher that is so solid like Mangoes.
Yeah, these pillars are the thing causing problems, though, and it's eventually that claims the barrier. Coin stops away Average Alex's flip there with the Tofu Fortress, but it is Mangoes who is without barriers in this point. Bloom still holding his with a flip, and Fiery narrowly evades the somersault and then does a blink to avoid getting KO'd by Mangoes. Both of these brawlers demonstrating perfect examples of how to play your life in this game. And both of them are having to do it so much because they're both getting killed. Okay, unfortunate. You can't avoid that one, Coin. He's finally taken off the map.
A little bit too close to the edge in the corner. Mango still defending, though, keeping this point alive. Has a flip available for extra defense. Pass splitter as well, doing so much work. The perfect form coming into play so often this game, as the cooldowns are plentiful for every single member. And oh, that Tofu Fortress, so much value. Coin getting the barrier off of that specific ricochet there. And now Pass are in control.
Yeah, they are launching back into this point. But an Oni's Blade surprises Mangoes. I don't think anybody was expecting. It came out so fast, and the Mangoes couldn't really tell where it was, it looked like. And then the core just flew like fire out the other end of it. This is now PPL on series point on the other side of that point.
Oh, and Coin gets trapped between a pillar and the bumper for a little bit. Health bar shredded, taken out. Power play for PPL as they rush forward for these barriers. One down already. Oni's Blade looking for two, but it goes around the world, and Bloom forced to burn an expanse to save it. Does maintain the barrier, though. And the pillars now coming in, so much damage onto Tempo. Almost a known barrier there as well. It's a bit of a series of awkward events here, but Fiery catches the cross. And now the PPL offense truly gets online with the barriers down. All it takes is one good passing play, one good rune pillar to close this one out.
And Fiery, somehow in the midst of all of this, is still making plays. What just happened there? Did Tempo try to heal herself in the back of the net and got hit by something and KO'd? Is that...
Yeah, I think she tried to help out and teleport into a pillar.
That's the PP Legends taking the series. What a performance. And that's Mloom taking the MVP that go round, but Average Alex still rocking most redirects in the lobby at 329. Also most shots in the lobby and still with 39 saves to his name. His goalie, though, Mloom with 100 more than that and 319 redirects of his own. I mean, this was a crazy defensive game. Both sides' defenses having to just put in constant work, it seemed like. The core did not spend much time in midfield. It was pretty much always in front of one goalie or the other, and they were just using that perfect form for its absolute most value to fight for their life. And it was PPL who came out with a victory on the other side of it. That means that they now have an undefeated record, and they will go into playoffs with an already secured first seed. And might I add, a fantastically won first seed, a seriously impressive season from these guys.
Absolutely. And PPL sitting atop the standings. Pass, though, now in a bit of a dangerous spot. Depending on how the match goes, the next one, NVS versus Ballin, it could lead to some awkward situations. I hope they do make it to playoffs, though, because this Pass roster, especially in this series, they showed that they have the potential to beat teams like PPL. It didn't happen today, but it could happen later down the line.
Yeah, the season is not over yet. We're just now moving into playoffs. And everybody who's not PPL, everybody that's still fighting for those playoff spots, have a lot of time to practice before they really have to show the big guns like PPL who's boss. For now, though, we'll be heading over to a quick break before hopping into our next series, NBS versus Ballin, now at stakes for playoffs of their own.
Yep. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a sec.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second game of this Week 9 NASA Season 5 between NBS and the Ballin' Ballers. Some interesting stakes on the line here. If NBS wins, they secure their slot in the playoffs. If Ballin' Ballers pulls out a victory, we have a three-way tie for fifth between Pass, NBS, and Ballin' Ballers going into playoffs. What outcome are you kind of looking forward to? What's more interesting to you, Cloak?
I mean, so the three-way tie seems more interesting to me because I was told by Saya that we would be doing a little mini tiebreaker bracket, which seems cool. So I think that's what I would be hoping for just for storytelling purposes. But you know what? There are a lot of NBS fans out there that would love to just see them send it to playoffs right here. We are already locking in with picks loaded. It is a heavy impact peak performance start, so it makes sense that NBS have opted to ban Vice from this match. And we're jumping in. What do you think of these starting comps as we hop into the match?
Well, I mean, obviously going to AtLab, you have a Zentaro siphoning one heavy impact. You have LaFoxio on the Aimi. I imagine Ballin' Ballers are going to be doing something they do really well, and that's trying to find these KOs and using this black hole to try to like chip out damage, as we see the Brawler, formerly known as BAM, trying to like find these dashes to find these KOs and get that striker advantage. But unfortunately, this early game is not quite working out for Ballin' Ballers.
Yeah, that was a very swift point, 20 seconds almost for NBS. And I will say, I'm loving seeing a Drakkar here. I was talking about this in the last series, how Drakkar actually feels really good this patch. And I'm looking forward to seeing more people whip him out. We'll get to see Striker Kai on him this match, and already he's getting barriers with that. One of the few people also to have locked in at peak performance so that he can get a little bit more mobility in the midfield here.
Yeah, and that mobility served them quite well in that first set, but now that Ballin' Ballers has starting to level up, start to get their ult, still waiting, and there's the Brawler finally getting that ult on Zen, and securing the kill on Julie. I think all they needed was to find their ults, and we've already seen that damage starting to come out.
Yeah, it's really hard to make the damage comp work when you're missing a third of your kit, right? But now they've come online. You predicted it exactly, Brando, and they've tied up the set very quickly. Also, yeah, I mean, if it wasn't... we were speculating, damage, but you did point out that this is siphoning Juan Zentaro that we're looking at here. Long time no see. Haven't seen a siphoning Juan Zentaro in a hot minute, but that is the signature "I intend to kill you" pickup. Which, speaking of, here's the other signature "I intend to kill you" pickup. Pummeler's Julie, everybody, and it's a power play for NBS.
Yep, and Alter already finding one barrier, and with the help of Striker Kai, able to find that second, but Alter looking staggered, and the Brawler trying to find that KO, but is not able to confirm, allowing Alter to move up and dash through Bebop and secure that second point.
Why did we let this heavy impact awakening back into the game? This thing is scary. It turns like everyone into the most terrifying character.
It did get a little bit of a nerf, I believe, on the cooldown side. It doesn't offer as much when you get those multi-hits. But if everything in your kit is an impact, that damage is just going to scale incredibly hard on... Obviously, we had the Vice ban, but you have that Zentaro and the Brawler making full use of that. And with that siphoning on pickup, the Zentaro kind of a little bit of a glass cannon, not a lot of stagger, but the siphoning wand healing based off the damage you deal, and that little bit of extra damage from the heavy impact is just going to help the Brawler with a little bit more survivability. But unfortunately, Ballin' Ballers kind of falling behind defensively here.
Yeah, and NBS do manage to pick up the KO there, so Ballin' Ballers falling even more behind now. But the Brawler does manage to keep it away with a nice Zen kit dump there. Also almost has the flip here to maybe turn the momentum back in the favor of Ballin' Ballers. But there's that glass cannon coming into effect there, and the Brawler is taken off by Striker Alter's Flame Flurry. The Mako secondary now coming in, buffing her midfielder and forward there. The Drakkar running forward, swooping into the net. The log from Dr. Bebop able to keep it away for now, but gets KO'd again. That's the third time that Striker Alter has been able to KO Bebop in the back of their net. But Brawler does manage to find a KO, but an unfortunately placed Oni's Blade will secure the series for NBS.
Yeah, and just good offensive pressure, but with Striker Kai and Alter really like keeping control of the core, but really deep into the Ballers goal box, kind of forcing Bebop along the edge. And Julie up front with a 1-2 punch in this draft is not what Ballers wants to see here. No way to deny it. And now that Julie's going to be killing from a lot further away. And I think NBS might be trying to find some more KOs this coming set.
Yeah, and I mean, here I look at this draft, I think this is a testament to the power of Sparks, because Striker Kai could have opted for Rapid Fire on Drakkar that draft, which is essentially free Rapid Fire prime time on that character because he has 2 shotgun charges, right? But instead opted for that Spark of Strength and does not seem to be suffering for it at all. That is a 10-second goal for NBS.
And with that, I think the power of Sparks, especially this in previous Awakening rotation, is not solely, but because Peak Performance is in rotation now, just making that Spark of Resilience stagger increase that much more viable. So building Sparks and getting that resilience on top of a Peak Performance start means not only are you getting the Spark buffs with the cooldown, the damage, but also the speed buff from that Peak Performance.
Yeah, and here we're seeing that 1-2 punch, heavy impact Julie kick in. I mean, the builds of NBS are already online here, which is a little scary because it seems like Ballers still have a long ways to go before they can begin to compete with what they're putting out right now.
Yeah, and this is Ballers map pick with the AtLab, which makes total sense with their comp really trying to like use this Intaro siphoning wand to like chip away Stagger, and then Bebop, LaFoxio, and the Brawler. No strangers to like finding kill confirms, but the core control, the positioning, and kind of this rotation that we saw, sort of the goalie moving all the way up to the midfield as Striker Kai falls back from NBS. Their positioning is just so on point that the Ballers just don't have a defensive answer for some of these pushes.
Yeah, and the Brawler is getting kit dumped, so not even really getting an opportunity to deploy some of that siphoning wand damage or healing. Just gets taken off the map immediately off of kickoff here. And Striker Kai and Striker Alter working up the field. Core flip in hand now as well. And they're playing like at a cruel twist of fate for Ballers. They're playing damage incredibly well right now. Constantly getting these power plays up as LaFoxio gets taken off the field once more.
Yeah, and both these teams really like trying to find the KOs, but like you said, NBS just with that Julie, with the 1-2, with the pummelers, able to find them just a little bit easier if anyone from Ballers gets caught a little too close to the edge, whereas Ballers really kind of has to work and use their abilities and get those hits to get the staggers to find their confirms. But on top of that, NBS, again, such good core control, such good positioning, like their Alter and Striker Kai moving in such unison that Bebop just does not have a good clear, and Striker Kai able to find another KO and continue finding these striker advantages.
Yeah, and we are now in a double open net for both of these teams, and LaFoxio possibly about to become the victim of another striker advantage. Staggered in the midfield here and being hit by snare drums and shotguns and all sorts of other damage sources oh my gosh, NBS just has so much at their disposal here. The power plays in their favor once more. All 3 of them close to flip or already having it, but they don't even need it. They just win the strike war on the goal line.
Yeah, and unfortunately, LaFoxio just kind of losing track of that black hole timer comes up just as they were standing within that range, allowing Striker K to just pop it and sending that staggered Aimi off the map. And we see that Spark of Resilience, that, I don't even want to call it Gambit, but that investment into Sparks coming up, that Drakkar is going to be harder to kill, going to get some power increase off of it, and the speed from Peak Performance. I don't think NBS walks away sad from this draft.
Now they're kind of happy as can be, right? And you've got even more speed on that Mako now. So this is 2 Haste Awakenings on your Mako goalie, which like is going to be valuable on anybody, right? Because it's a massive global buff. But I think it's especially valuable because this is a Julie and a Drakkar we're talking about, right? These are 2 characters that traditionally have a really hard time staying on track of their targets. But the Striker Alter has no problem with the help of that Mako secondary to just walk up and find these dash punches. They can be anywhere they need to on the map now, and they have so much damage and core control at their disposal. Like, this is an incredibly well-balanced, and as we're seeing right now, well-executed game by NBS.
Yeah, NBS just kind of, like you said, well executed, playing this game to a T. Their positioning is on point. Their setups are on point. And these KOs, their ability to stay alive even in the face of a heavy impact Zentaro siphoning wand is just so on point that nothing in the arsenal of NBS looks weak in this game here.
Yeah, another quick goal. And I mean, the Brawler is trying to make some plays on the back line now, Okiing Assertive in their own go box, which I think is not a terrible idea, especially because Assertive has those double haste, right? So you can maybe stun the Mako out of her secondary so that NBS doesn't get as much value out of that. But there's still a lot more on the other side of that. Like, we're still dealing with a double spark, peak performance Drakkar, this insane Julie build, and already it's 2-0 in this set. That's series point for NBS.
Yeah, and again, I have not seen a single point, a single set where NBS's positioning, their damage, anything has faltered, and a lot has to go right for Ballin' Ballers here to stay in this game.
Yeah, I like that we're seeing the Brawler come up, try to counter brawl on Striker Alter here. They do manage to get him staggered, have the flip here to burn and secure it. The first power play for Ballin' Ballers that they've had in quite some time. See if they can make it value here. They do manage to find Assertive's flip there, but the Mako speed is going to come out, allow Striker Kai to defend away all of that, and buy time for Striker Alter to come back on the board. The Brawler now back in a very familiar situation to Ballin' Ballers, which is being nearly dead, and probably here in a few moments being actually dead. Both goalies holding on to their barriers just fine for now.
Yeah, and especially Assertive on that Mako. Mako, probably one of the best goalies for locking it down, but getting back, Mako's kind of one falters, not a lot of mobility, but when you have Striker Kai and this incredibly fast Drakkar, you basically just have to cover one spot, and then Striker Kai can just cover the rest. And they're able to hold on and survive that power play. And now NBS seeing a power play of their own, able to get that barrier. The core does get sent all the way back, but without a Brawler there to kind of keep it over there, Assertive finds no issue sending it back straight to Striker Kai, Alter covering the clear, and Striker Kai able to send it through and securing this very dominant first game for NBS.
Yeah, kind of getting exactly the awakenings they want to, not just for their characters, but for their comp, right? Like, Assertive getting 2 haste awakenings there was such a critical game changer for them. Striker Kai somehow managed to find 178 redirects that game. Like, there's no surprise that we're listening to the Drakkar MVP music right now. That's some seriously impressive core control, and not even a ton of damage dealt by this team. It just looks like Striker Alter was finding Julie dash punch after Julie dash punch to find 8 KOs over the course of that game. I think dominant is a bit of an understatement, quite frankly, Brando. That was a slobber knocker, to use Lego Mage's new favorite word.
Yeah, and Alter, like on that first set, still able to find those KOs, really showing that they are a Julie that really knows that kill range of that combo there. And once they picked up that 1-2 punch, it gave them so much more leeway that they didn't have to quite be as precise. Didn't have to like wait for them to get just close enough to the edge for them to find those KOs. And that just shows the team that they know how to play the KOs, but they also know how to play that core control. Once they got that striker advantage, they almost always was able to get a barrier or even 2 out of it, or even to the goal, as we saw in that last set there. I think NBS, like you said, not a bad awakening for them. There wasn't a bad draft. There wasn't. I don't think out of the drafts we saw there was anything where it's like, well, there's not really much here for NBS. But also the brawler, the on that Zentaro, just Ball and Baller's entire, I think, game plan, their entire comp was to dish out that damage, get the staggers, find those KOs, but they just weren't able to get it, and NBS able to deal enough damage to kind of keep the brawler on their toes, getting staggered, Alter finding them too close to the edge, that there was never a moment where Ball and Ballers was able to get their momentum going, and it felt like they were just kind of on their back heels most, if not that entire game.
Yeah, that being said, I do want to shout out what I actually think was a pretty smart play by the brawler in particular, drafting wise. He did opt for Among Titans, which is a very rare pick for brawler, right? Normally, you want that size, especially if you're playing somebody like Zentaro. You have a lot of melee abilities. Size is a really big thing. I've been experimenting around a bit with Among Titans and Taro myself, and I actually think that it's a pretty smart choice, especially when you just need to evade more damage like that. Now, of course, NBS didn't really let that, affect them. They were still landing abilities on the small, fast Zen totally fine. But I do think that it was a smart play. I think it was a wise attempt. NBS was just a little bit wiser and able to play around that pickup.
Yeah, and plus the brawler up until like that last set didn't really fall back defensively. Kind of relied on Bebo and LaFoxio to kind of find those clears. But on that last set, they did start falling back defensively. And you made the comment that they were able to come. They came back and were able to kind of help ability dump on the on NBS's brawler striker Alter. And they were able to get that damage out and able to find the KO there. But at that point, I think it was a little too late. NBS had already scaled to the point that one striker advantage for them didn't really matter. You had Striker Kai on that insanely fast. I think it was like a 134, 139 speed Drakkar. That's not stacked. That's not something you get a KO and reset. That's just they have the awakenings now. They're just going to be that fast. That just allowed them to move around the map so quick. It made it harder to dump damage on that Drakkar because they're just moving so fast. It's hard to make those reads. And NBS drafted insanely well and just played. I think they played more of a cohesive unit than we saw out of Ball and Ballers that game.
Yeah, they definitely had more responses for all of the conditions of that game. You have the melee goalie that can hold it down on defense, and then your brawlers and your midfielder can come in. Once you get that KO, you still have this massive Mako speed boost on the other side to just create an explosive power play. A cohesive unit is absolutely the right term to describe watching that match. But we're jumping into our game 2 now. We're heading to Night Market, and it is a 1-2 punch start. So you can bet both of your Bippies that we are seeing a Juliet right here. It's NBS picking up the Juliet once more. But this time they're the ones to nab the Aimi. And then they're grabbing a Kai as well. I'm not sure where the Aimi and the Kai are going. Do you have any predictions as to what positions those characters will be falling to?
Oh, if I had to guess, I would. I almost want to say, I think it might be a Kai goalie, but
that seems reasonable to me. Yeah, this is Assertive. Assertive has played. Oh, but this is Striker Kai that we're talking about. Wait, never mind. That changes the narrative entirely.
You know what?
This is his namesake. Surely it's Kai midfield, right?
If this is not a Kai midfield, I am now immediately disappointed.
It's false advertising if it's not a Kai midfield.
Yep. It is kind of unfortunate that CTL start Ball and Ballers kind of feeling they need to deny that Octavia because there's also that 1-2 Julie, and we've already seen what they can do on AtLab. So on a more traditionally laned map like we see on Night Market here, Julie, if they know how to like utilize those speed gates to close that distance and hit that dash punch, 1-2 punch combo, Alter might be running away with this again. if Ball and Ballers don't find a way to answer back.
Yeah, well, and I mean, they do have a potential answer. Presumably, this is a 1-2 punch Asher that we're running in the brawler position here. And pun intended, because it will be the brawler in that brawler position. So yeah, it's a little bit of an Asher kitten comp. You have a Atlas and a Now behind her as well. So Atlas can also maybe stop some of those KOs. It does seem like Ball and Ballers have really gone back into the locker room and come out with some responses to the problems that they faced last game. But everything that's about to happen on the Core Strike field is going to be taking that theory and putting it into practice, which is a whole nother beast.
Yep, and we do see Bebop pulling out the Atlas. Bebop, played with him a couple times. Oddly enough, I've never played with Bebop with them in the goal box. They're always like forward, and they're almost always forward Atlas. But no stranger to that Atlas. I imagine they're going to be quick on that trigger with the Atlas ult, especially with that 1-2 Julie, presumably going over to Alter. But it does seem like they are like, okay, NBS knows how to deal damage. They know how to find these KOs. We need to rethink our entire strategy. And I'm expecting to see a bit of a different Ball and Ballers this game, especially with a drastically different comp than we saw on AtLab.
Yeah, and it looks like they are not going nearly as heavy. Right? They have dash punches on the brawler, on the brawler's Asher. But for the most part, they're actually going for the core control victory here, and it's triple 1-2 punch on the side of NBS that now looks like they are maybe going for some more traditional KO shenanigans. And yeah, it is Striker Alter, though, that gets staggered, Caster cursing the other end of that comment.
Yeah, but
what is going on right now?
I'm getting caught a little too close to the edge with LaFoxio's now primary kind of just shooting off the edge. And I lost track of what happened to Julie. I can only imagine the brawler did their namesake, but unfortunately, Striker Kai, Alter, able to find a response onto the brawler.
Yeah, that was Caster curse and a half. I was like, oh yeah, this is the KO comp, or not, like the KO pressure being generated by NBS, and then we immediately get a double KO from the side of Ball and Ballers. But NBS brought it back. They're the first ones on the board for this game, but both of their barriers are down very soon thereafter.
Yeah, but we are seeing two flips on the side of Brawl and Ballers. Bebop using one defensively, caught by Striker Kai, able to take a barrier for it, and Assertive having to use that Imi Blink to kind of catch the rebound. But we do see the core back over to the side of Ball and Ballers, and NBS, Alter's kind of looking a little staggered here, taking a lot of damage, which they were not, weren't taking as much in that last game, but NBS still sitting pretty comfortable. Alter doesn't seem like they're too worried at all, even though they are staggered here.
Yeah, I think that LaFoxio actually got a lucky little stun onto the staggered Julia that canceled her dash, which is highly unfortunate for Striker Alter. And a nice barrier beam there will actually catch both midfielder and goalie and the core in there and tie up the early set.
Yeah, and also something a little interesting, kind of rare this patch. We do see the brawler on slit kicks. I've seen a lot of people opting for mag souls, especially on Night Market here. So they are kind of like, it seems like they are trying to do more of that core control. The brawler kind of getting it up there, wanting to like dribble it down and kind of set up their effectively their 1-2 combo to confirm against Assertive here, who we know they can lock it down on Mako, but with the Imi here, they're showing that they are just as competent on that Imi of locking it down and actually denying the midfield, with Ball and Ballers trying to push it, like just get it past this midfield line, and Assertive is denying it. But now we see Ball and Ballers with the striker advantage, and can they make a play?
Yeah, they're rushing into it already. They do have the barrier disadvantage, but quickly resolve that issue, and the brawler flips in front of the net. Lufoxdio using that now speed to catch the rotations, but it's Striker Alter who secures the speed boost in the center, walks up with the flip of his own now. It's blocked away by Lufoxdio, but the Brawler catches it. There's that 1-2 combo you mentioned to secure the point.
And the Brawler, excellent placement, just kind of hovering near that speed gate. And as soon as the core gets sent over to the side of NBS, popping it, getting that speed boost, dashing over there just to close that much of a difference, and then just primary it straight through. And Assertive on this IME just does not have really an answer for an Asher once the Brawler can get in your face.
And I just now noticed that the Brawler is rocking a period after his username, which honestly makes this rebrand go even harder. I already liked the rebrand, and now I noticed the period, and the period exudes the kind of energy that makes the cheese more binding.
It's not so much a name as it is a statement.
And he's making quite a statement in this match, getting plenty of dash punch KOs and being the front-running scorer here for Ballin' Ballers. But it is a brief break from that as an offensive pressure comes out for the side of NBS.
Yeah, and Striker Kai was a little bit staggered there, but hovering really close to the center. The Brawler not able to find those KOs, and now the Brawler really just kind of hovering in the side of NBS, doesn't really see a KO opportunity, and so just decides to wait until they have a scoring opportunity, get that barrier, and sure enough, they are able to stun Assertive out as Lufoxdio gets that final barrier, and then a nice team play, keeping it on the side of Ballin' Ballers and sending it to that top corner where Assertive just quite could not reach it in time.
Yeah, and that is the first set that Ballin' Ballers have been able to take this series. So Lufoxdio grabbing the set MVP and Fighter Flight is a nice reward to win for it. It's fascinating. Even after, Monumentalist, now has always been a front-running awakening for the character. But even after Now's initial nerf to her secondary, people were still taking Monumentalist because it was considered to be just that good. Nowadays, speed is considered much more valuable. I guess is in part due to there just being less speed in these current rotation. So it makes sense, but that was the biggest pickup that Ballin' Ballers were.
Yeah, I don't know.
A bit of a lackluster draft for them, honestly, outside of that Fighter Flight pickup.
I don't know. The size on the Brawler, especially that demo, once they can get a barrier, get some cooldowns off of it, getting that size, is going to allow them to cover just a little bit more area once they can kind of get a scoring opportunity set up. Asher really loves that size. But I think, Lufoxdio on that Fighter Flight, probably the biggest pickup on Ballers. Between Fighter Flight on Lufoxdio and Perfect Form on Assertive, probably the two possible game changers in that. But even Alter picking up the Dead Eye, kind of a Dead Awakening on Juliet, is able to secure the goal and get the first point on in this set for NBS.
Which who knows, maybe this Juliet will get a Dash Awakening later in the game and we can start to see some Deadeye Julie procs. I'm not entirely sure how feasible it is to proc Deadeye on that character, but I know you can do it with dash range. It is a lot of speed on both of the midfielders, though. Oh yeah, no. What's your thought here?
I don't think a single Dash Awakening on Julie could, unless you clip him right on the tip of it. But that very nice with the Brawler and Lufoxdio, just kind of shoving that core, creating their own artificial corner kind of in the middle of the goal there, with Lufoxdio's now primary Doritos there, and not really giving Assertive a way out and just letting the Brawler just do what Asher does best and just shove that core through to find their first point in this set.
Yeah, very well played there by... I think both of these teams are executing their win conditions really well. Like Striker and Kai and Striker Alter, both of them just applying oppressive possession is how I would describe their approach to this game. They're not really interested in burning all of their cooldowns all at once to make stuff happen. That being said, they did just burn a lot of cooldowns right there, but for the most part, they're looking to just burn Bebop's abilities, and they're going to hold back until that happens. They've been playing that very well. And then the Brawler and Lufoxio are doing traditional, Asher kitten comp shenanigans. You just get it to your Asher, and then she takes care of the rest for the most part. But It is another point to the side of NBS.
And I think you kind of said it best, where NBS is just kind of holding their abilities for the most part when they need to, kind of being, I wouldn't say conservative with it, but more methodical with their ability usage, and just kind of using them to bait out Bebop's abilities, which is kind of what you do with an Atlas. Kind of only has two abilities really to help them defensively on fairly significant cooldowns. And so what that and Bebop not really having speed and kind of these bigger gates here, just bait out Atlas's abilities, but it's kind of hard to do that when Assertive on that Julie does get KO'd. The Brawler making their statement and finding the KO with a nice dash punch of their own.
Yeah, and that'll be a power play towards the side of Ball and Ballers. Bebop making his way up to the midfield, but now that Striker Alter is back on the board, it's going to be a little hard to keep control of that midfield. It's back in the hands of NBS for now. Brief breakaway as Assertive has to make that 90-degree clear there, but Striker Kai is there to respond to Lufoxio on the bottom. Striker Alter securing the speed boost in the center, but it floats back to Bebop, who gets a free clear. Has to burn the Expanse, though, on the return. Striker Kai, Giga Blast away from Lufoxio. Both of them have flip in the midfield. Have to see who gets to burn theirs first. Striker Alter goes for the dash punch, but Lufoxio still alive. It scrapes in. What an angle found from Striker Kai, skirting around Dr. Bebop's strike box. And that's a set for MDS.
Striker Kai with a beautiful placement on that final scoring attempt. Gets rewarded with the first pickup here. Not too much for Kai. I think, the peak performance of Super Surge are probably the two things I'm looking at. But I think that last Awakening rotation kind of showed people exactly how strong speed is. And now with this current one with not a lot of speed opportunities, people are just going for it left and right. But that Timeless on Atlas, good pickup. I think it might be more of a deny on that Aimi, so they can't use that turret to its fullest effect. But I'm not seeing too much game changers here outside of we do have EE on Assertive's Aimi, so their dash plays, they're going to be able to dash in a bit more, and we might see them jumping in a bit more to help offensively now that they do have that dash range.
Yeah, I think that's a massive buff for NBS. They're just going to have so much. Already, they're doing a great job of keeping possession, and when you can predictably keep possession, you can land those Aimi blinks, and they can provide a lot of value. Here comes Assertive flipping in. A nice pass from Striker Kai on the bottom side. The flip doesn't find it, but the barrage does, and that's NBS first on the board for set 3.
Yeah, and the Brawler picking up that Stagger Swagger, they do get a little bit of a base speed increase, not much, and if you can't pick up size, speed is always good on the Asher, but that does mean, and I saw them, I don't know if they intentionally did it or they just kind of got stuck with the Aimi turret, they were kind of tanking it, and they did get down pretty low, but enough to proc that bigger speed increase out of Stagger Swagger. So that might be a strategy the Brawler could employ. I don't think it's very intuitive, but it's a fun thought to see if that additional speed increase from Stagger Swagger comes into play.
Yeah, at the very least, 7% speed is nothing to sneeze at, and a power play is certainly a fantastic boon for the Ball and Ballers here. Striker Kai and Assertive hold strong for a moment, but Lufoxio and the Brawler are able to swoop in, collapse on those barriers, and open the goal net up. Assertive does have a defensive flip here. Lufoxio having to preemptively burn a bit of energy burst there in an effort to not get KO'd, but the core floats to Striker Alter, who threads the needle between Bebop and Lufoxio. That's a 2-point lead now for NBS. Their momentum seems to be building quite a bit here.
And Striker Kai playing that last point very well, kind of moving in line with Alter, but seeing them approach the Atlas, they gave themselves enough space to be able to respond to that Atlas primary kind of return that Bebop popped out, and not allowing Ball and Ballers to kind of get that clear and kind of keep that progression in the favor of NBS. But now with a double barrier down on the side of NBS, Brawl and Brawlers trying to find their own offensive plays here, trying to get their own momentum going.
Yeah, and they are doing a very good job of getting barriers very consistently. Like, we see that the goal net of NBS is open once more, but the defense is just so strong. Striker Kai and Assertive are such a powerful defensive duo. Striker Kai already at level 10 for this match, several levels above most of the other players in this match. It's really only Lufoxdio that's rivaling him at level 9, about to hit level 10 himself. An unfortunate glitch pop angle will be an own goal, giving Ball and Ballers their first point of this set.
Yeah, and I think kind of what you were hinting at, just kind of this cohesion that Striker Kai has with Assertive defensively. We kind of saw there when a couple points ago when Ball and Ballers had the advantage and an open net on MBS. Striker Kai and Assertive really like positioning himself insanely well to cover the entire goal box between the two of them. But also Striker Kai knowing exactly how to like push up with Alter on this Juliet, how to support them and how to send the core where they want to find these punches, these kick punches to secure these barriers and these points. Striker Kai just showing good familiarity with both of their teammates here.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and Striker Kai is so, I mean, we said it, this is his namesake, but I mean, we're talking about Striker Kai right now. What a play from Lufoxdio and the Brawler up in that corner. Some stereotypical Asher Brawler offense, but I gotta say, you made the call that this size was going to be a little bit of a game changer for the Brawler, and I think that was a demolitionist difference right there. Being able to hit for the second or third time this game, both goalie and midfielder at the same time as the core, which is just impressive coverage and a good angle to secure the goal.
Yeah, and we've seen it a few times. Unfortunately, the Brawler hasn't been able to find back-to-back barriers that often, but the few times we had, it's that demolitionist kind of pickup, allowing them to use their abilities to kind of shove it through one and then immediately get that cooldown back to get the other barrier and to find the goal in return.
Yeah, and seeing as he just got a double barrier there, he does have cooldowns, but the offense is now on the side of NBS. Striker Kai doing a back pass there, but Assertive has to move out of the way, make way for the Brawler. The path splitter comes out, and now Dorito is sitting there oppressively in the field, but a nice Soren angle pass to Striker Kai will clear it away for now. The core sends it through the speed gate. Goes back to Dr. Bebop, who has to burn the expanse on the other side of the field. Striker Kai keeping up possession. The dash punch will force out Bebop's flip here, but the flame flurry holds him in place long enough for a wacky night market angle to fly up into the top corner of his net. That's another set to NBS.
That is so unfortunate because Bebop, the right play, using that primary to get it out of that flaming fist, but unfortunately, night market angle strikes again, and we do see Striker Kai. You mentioned it; they were kind of the first ones to hit that level 10, getting the number 1 spot in this draft, but kind of letting it fall through, kind of seeing what their teammates can pick up.
Yeah, and the missile prop is interesting. You do get more pressure with the Giga Blasts, but I don't think it's a super transformative awakening on Kai. I'm a little surprised that Striker Kai let Among Titans fall there, and Dr. Bebop is very happy to receive it. That's more size for his forwards and more speed for himself. And the Brawler now has Adrenaline Rush here, like several transformative awakenings for the side of Ball and Ballers, but even in the face of such a good draft for them, it's NBS who secure the first point there. Like, I don't even think that NBS got a ton out of that draft. They're just playing super cleanly here.
What NBS did get, and this is what Striker Kai kind of like why they let it fall through, is they got the aerials on Assertive, which means on kickoff, that Aimi can blink in basically right into Bebop's goal box and drop that Firewall Sentry and get those, as we saw, those 2 barriers really quickly. But that does kind of put her Firewall Sentry on cooldown, does kind of use it there defensively. But then, yeah, the Brawler and Lufoxdio able to get double barrier pretty quickly of their own and able to find that, get on the board for this this 4th set. I forgot what set we were in.
Yeah, no. I'm liking the Ball and Ballers potential to make a comeback in this set. And another double barrier. This dude can't stop getting double barriers. He is the brawler. Like, a better title could not have been found. A better title could not have been found. He's on a rampage. That Awakening's not even in the game right now, but he's making it happen.
And this is the power of size on Asher. Yeah, they only have the demo, but that Among Titans pickup on Bebop making the brawler that much bigger, that more menacing, that all they really need is the core to be in the face of Imi when the core gets to them, and they are almost guaranteed to win that interaction at this point.
Yeah, and here they go, up on the barriers once more. Only get one for their troubles this time, but yeah, I think you said it best. This Asher is really disgusting, especially in the face of ranged goalies like Imi. They don't really have a response to the brawler. Assertive really has to rely on Striker Kai to keep possession in the midfield, or else bad things start to happen. The brawler picking up a KO. There's the ad rush proc. And he's getting cooldown reduction as well every time that's going off now. So much tempo swung in the favor of Ball and Ballers this set. But again, surprise out of nowhere. Assertive can just blink in, ruin your day, and put NBS on series point.
It's taken some scaling, but I think we are kind of in the late game here, where this match I think is going to be actually decided between the plays. For the plays between the brawler and Assertive here. Can LaFoxio and Bebop get the core to the brawler so they can do what they do best? But unfortunately, Alter finding that KO on LaFoxio, and the brawler have to fall all the way back to kind of help this defensively.
Yeah, and the brawler makes the most of the play. Him and Bebop keep the barrier alive for now. LaFoxio is now back on the board, forced to play near the edge, but Striker Alter's not there to capitalize. A nice rotation there with the now ult will keep the core in play for the Ball and Ballers. Bebop's able to clear the ball away at a 90-degree angle. Nice back passes between all three members of the team there. Will save the barrier. Striker Alter now with a flip. Striker Kai running up with the barrage, but it's defended away by the Expanse. It'll be Striker Alter's flip that finally finds purchase. The brawler now on the prowl though, drops the path splitter. It stuns out Striker Kai and Assertive a little bit, but the core is unable to find its way into the net. LaFoxio sends it down again, but it's Striker Kai who gets his hands on it, and Striker Alter who puts it in. NBS take the series. I was hopeful there for a moment that the Ball and Ballers would bring it back, but NBS is a little too tall of a mountain to climb. That was some impressive gameplay from them, to say the least.
Yeah, and with that, NBS does secure their slot in the playoffs. But Ball and Ballers kind of showing how adaptive they can be. That first game, we kind of saw it was basically as you put it, a slobber knocker for NBS, just kind of showing their dominance. But that second game, that night market match, Ball and Ballers adapted, changed their play style, not really going for the damage, kind of going for that traditional goalie to midfield to forward style of comp to secure it, and able to get a lot done. It did take a little bit for to get some scaling going for the brawler being able to get that size and kind of win those strike wars against Assertive, but also LaFoxio picking up some of that speed and some of the awakenings to kind of help get that core forward. But I think, unfortunately for Ball and Ballers, that cohesiveness with NBS, Striker Kai just playing like so spot on, so dominant in the midfield, dropping back to help Assertive defensively, pushing forward with Alter to help with those offensive pushes, kind of knowing exactly where they needed to be and when they needed to be there and able to make it. NBS just showing phenomenal teamwork in both games, I believe.
Yeah, well, and it was, Ball and Ballers were able to take a set and almost take a couple more sets that game. But NBS coming out on top of that does demonstrate that they don't need cracked awakenings to be a dominant team, right? Like we saw in that first game, you can take a look at the builds that they got and maybe you say, oh, if they don't get such good awakenings, Ball and Ballers have a better chance there. And maybe that's true. But even when Ball and Ballers got so many game-changing things in that match too, it just didn't matter. NBS are too strong. They have too much synergy, and they're able to just control the field and by extension the game to their whim. And that's the kind of gutsa that it takes to put you in the playoffs.
Yeah, and with that, that does close out week 9. Pass and NBS securing their final slots in the playoffs. That'll be it for tonight. Break next week, but following that, playoffs start February 9th, and we're going to see who can come out on top in this season 5 of NSA.